Lorraine, where are you from?
Well, I was born in Wisconsin, in a little town called Rockdale.
Mm-hmm.
It was a good place to grow up.
And you went to high school there?
Oh yeah, well I went to grade school 8 years, and our home was right across the street.
Mm-hmm.
And we used to come home for lunch all the time. And I remember this because we had some tomato soup yesterday at the dining room. And my mother canned tomatoes, and we'd come home from school, for lunch, and we'd have tomato soup a lot of the time. And that reminds me of the little town I was living in. It was a great place.
And then you joined the Marine Corps?
Well, no. Then I went to high school at Cambridge, Wisconsin. And at Cambridge, after high school, I went to, the Carroll College at Waukesha, Wisconsin. And I had 2 years in there. And then the war was on. Well, the war was on when, I was in college. And anyway, then I wanted to go in the Marine Corps. I wanted to go really bad, and my father, no, you're going to finish the university. You're going to finish college. And he kept it up, and he wouldn't let me go, and I got a job in a defense factory that summer. And I had to wait till I was 20 years old to go in the Marine Corps.
Mm-hmm.
Army, Navy, I think it was 18, but I had to wait till I was 20. So, and then I finally wrote him a letter that how I really felt, and he said, "You're such a good American, I can't stop you." I was a real flag waver. Yeah, and then I had to wait a long. I went and enlisted right after in July, and I had to wait. I got to boot camp 10 days before Christmas because there were so many women joining the Marine Corps. They didn't have enough facilities for the boot camp. So I got to boot camp 10 days before Christmas. But I was all excited. I didn't think about being not home for Christmas. Anyway, boot camp was very interesting, and I met a lot of fine gals, just like myself. They were out of college, or had been in college, and they were going to do something for this country. So I went through boot camp, and then I got, they were, you took all kinds of tests. And so the person who was going to decide where I went thought I should do personnel work or something like that. And I said, no, I don't want to work in an office. I don't want to work in an office. Please, And he looked at my thing and he says, well, your mechanical aptitude is high, so you could go to aviation machinist mate school and become an airplane mechanic. I said, oh, that's what I'd love to do. I'd love to do that. And so I went off to Norman, Oklahoma, and that's where we had our training there. And it was hot. It was hot. Oh my gosh. And we had to be out they had the parades once in a while, and you'd stand there for an hour or two before the parade started, and they'd tell them, I remember I said, don't you dare pass out. None of you dare pass out. And the waves were passing out, and some of the sailors, the Marines stood there like we were statues. Well, I got through aviation machinist mate school, and I was sent back to Cherry Point, and I worked there as a job. And of course, and I thought, boy, now I'm going to work. And I got mess duty. I thought, oh my gosh. I had to do this mess duty. And this is, I remember this. They asked, the mess duty, you'd have to be there for meals served at night and everything. And I thought, I heard somebody told me about being a butcher's assistant because they fixed meat and they're done for the day. So when they asked if anybody had experience cutting meat, I'd worked in a butcher shop all my life. And I got the job, and I worked with a sergeant and a corporal, and those guys were so much fun. And we went canoeing and stuff after everybody else was still working. And that was fun. Well, anyway, I just had a lot of fun in the Marine Corps, and then Cherry Point, yeah. It was in Cherry Point where I enlisted and got to sent to Normal, Oklahoma. Well, anyway, I got sent back to Cherry Point, and from Cherry Point, I had to wait to go overseas. And so they sent me to San Diego for overseas training, and San Diego was great. I had a great time in San Diego. I remember everything we were taught and all, but I met a guy who was a sergeant of the gates. He was the head of the guys on the gates, and it was fun. And he wanted to show me some of San Diego, so we could just walk out, and I was AWOL half the time off when I was off duty. And I just had a great time. Okay, then I went overseas, and we went on a ship. And I think I was in the third bunk up about way up someplace. And we landed at Oahu. We went to Oahu, to the Marine base there, and that's where I really got to do the work that I loved. And I was in Oahu, the Marine base. I worked right out on the line, and I had the best job in the whole place. I took care of the plane. It was just a little SNJ, AT-6 in the Army, a two-seater thing, where the guys that, they had jobs where they had to get their flight time, so to get the flight pay. So they'd come out and they'd go on my plane, and they'd say, "Oh, you can go too, hop in." And they let me fly. I got to be pretty good at flying. And then they'd try to get me, scared. They were doing rolls and dives and all kinds of stuff, and I just laughed, I was having a good time. And that's what I did till the war was over. And then I didn't want to go home. My dad had been killed, and my grandpa, who I loved, died 2 weeks later, and but I had to go back and go to college. So I got out. And that was the end of my days in the Marine Corps, but I've always been in the Marine Corps League. And in Elk Grove, it's the best Marine Corps League in the country, I think. Compared to the ones in Utah. When I lived in Utah, they weren't these guys, they show up, there maybe 40 members show up, and it's really great. And of course, I have 2 grandsons. I didn't have any, my granddaughters wouldn't go in the military, and I had two grandsons, and I used to, from the time they were little, talked about going in the Marine Corps, but neither one did. They're married and got families, and I call them wimps. Yeah.
And did you have a hard time in boot camp?
In boot camp? No, I enjoyed it. I was athletic, and everything. I liked it. I liked the physical training that we got, and I liked it.
Did you, what kind of fun things did you do in Hawaii?
In Hawaii? Well, I wore up 3 swimming suits. When I was off duty, I had friends that went, and we'd go spearfishing underwater, and I did that a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
That's
I
fun.
did that a lot.
And why are you still a Marine?
Hey, once a Marine, always a Marine. I love the Marine Corps, and there is an esprit de corps that no other outfit has. Even the Army guys, the Navy guys, they know it too. They know about our esprit de corps.
Well, thank you very much, Lorraine. That's a very good talk you had with me. Thank you.
Well, you're welcome.